Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. A few things to have on hand. I have 2 yoga blocks. A terrific substitute for those would be 2 thick books. You might want a blanket or folded towel to pad knees and so on. That's as simple as a throw blanket from your couch, which I do have, but it's being used at the moment by my pup. I also am known to steal cushions from my couch or pillows from my bed. So find things that help make this a little bit more comfortable. It's actually really fun to be creative and use the things from your home. I have a yoga mat if you're without one. Maybe there's an area in your house that has carpeting, or you've got a sturdy rug that can become your yoga mat for today. And we will actually start seated, so carefully make your way down onto the ground. And once we're seated, it's a cross-legged seat. A few things to design that with. You could use your folded blanket to sit on. You could use one of your books or blocks to sit on. And as we construct our leg positioning, instead of crossing at the ankles, walk your feet away from each other. What we're looking to do is find a stretch more in our hip rotators, in your glute muscles, so in your butt a little bit. And so if you shift the shins a little bit more towards one another, the feet away from each other, you'll arrive at that and you will feel less pressure in your knees. It's tricky to sit tall and to get rid of our tendency to slump in all positions, but in a cross-legged seat, I think in particular. So sitting on your prop will help that. And let's take our hands behind us and be on our fingertips and lift our heart, almost like we're trying to do a back bend, not with our chin, mind you, but with that shoulder blade area of our spine. So we're seated in a cross-legged seat where it's sticky terrain in our hips. And we're teaching ourselves to sit tall through it all. So fingertips behind us really help a lot with that. Let's take a moment, maybe even closing our eyes, to land here. Truly land here. All the sensations that you're feeling in those glute muscles, in your spine, in the stretch in the front of your chest, they help us to be here now. Not wander back in time to what happened already or try to anticipate a future that isn't here yet, but to actually fully inhabit this moment. It is the most advanced yoga you will do. Let's be quiet here for a moment and be where we are. Blink your eyes open if they're closed. And now we recross our legs, so our left shin is in front of our right shin, and we're still not going to cross so much at the ankles. We'll walk those 2 feet in opposite directions, so it's almost like your ankles are underneath your knees. And now inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Try to imagine that you have 2 sets of arms, and the other set of arms are still your fingertips behind you. So you've got that little almost back bend. And now turn to your left. And as you turn to your left, take the back of your right hand to the outside of that left thigh, and now your fingertips come behind you, left fingertips behind you in a twist. So we'll inhale, lift both, we'll lift our hearts, but we'll use both sets of arms towards that end, towards that long spine. So inhale, lift up and twist, and exhale, just feel yourself land where you are. 3 moments here. Unwind and take your arms to the sky, thumbs to the sky. Now we twist to the right, and we take the back of our left hand to the outside of that right thigh, right fingertips back behind you. Every inhale, grow tall, and every exhale, just a little adventure into the twist. You're not forcing anything, you're curious. We inhale and grow tall, and we exhale and twist. A couple more times like that. Now gently, carefully, unwind And if you're on a prop, you'll make your way off your prop. Let's take our legs out in front of us and just waggle them, free them for a moment. Swing around to all fours, so hands and knees. This might be the first moment where you put your folded blanket underneath. I've got my toes curled under. Now, from here, press into your arms so that we're not sagged. This is almost like the integrity of sitting tall that we just found. But now our chest is parallel to the ground, so we're not collapsed, and we're pushing the ground away and drawing our belly in. Now, step your right leg behind you like you're flirting with a plank. And oomph into your arms so that there's no collapse, and we can feel muscles in our torso that are also helping us to sit tall, stand tall, lose our slump. Put that knee down and step with the other leg. So you'll step back. If you did the opposite leg of mine, that's fine. If you did your left leg first, you could do your right leg now, other way around. And then knees together. Step either leg back to flirt with your plank, and now full plank, both feet step back. Once you've got that, bring both knees down, but a little further back in space than our hands and knees just now, which is where it's very difficult not to collapse. So push the ground away, feel your belly lift towards your spine, and then let's take 5 counts all the way onto the ground, onto our bellies. So 5, elbows bend and brush your ribs. 4, 3, 2, and then uncurl your toes and bring your forearms parallel to the long edges of your mat. We'll come into a Sphinx pose, and we'll build this from the ground up. So press into the tops of your feet till your kneecaps lift, and then let's traction our elbows towards us. They're not actually going to move in space, but our chest moves through the gateway of our arms, and we are removing our slump once again. So it's like you're imprinting those shoulder blades into your spine, and you'll let your chin stay parallel to the ground so that your shoulder blades really get all the praise here, all the opportunity. Now we'll lower down, and now position your hands next to your ribs, and instead of winging your elbows out, let them be a little aerodynamic and continue to point back behind you. Activate your legs by pressing into the tops of your feet and letting those kneecaps lift. Traction your hands the way that you did your forearms, and a little lift of your chest, but mostly a lengthen forward of your chest and not too much of the chin. And we can feel that we are doing the opposite of rounding and slumping in our shoulder blade area of our spine. Now we'll lower down. We want to get strong here. Curl your toes under. We come to all fours, like all fours we were in before, but in one chunk. So all the way up onto all fours. And then with your toes curled under, imagine that you have a hook in your tailbone, and let that hook take your tailbone up and back to down dog. Press into your arms, step your feet as wide as your mat, and then your chest is moving towards your thighs. There's a bend to your knees, you're on the balls of your feet. Really feel length through your spine. We've been talking about that a lot so far in our practice today. And then let's walk forward. Our feet come all the way to our hands. Feet are hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands to your shins and lift your heart. Slide your hands down. Hinge at your hips. It's a fold, but not a rounding. And then with your belly firm, inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, a V. Let's pause. There's a softness to your legs. So a little bit of a bend in your knees, and then imagine that you're still seated in that cross-legged position, and grow yourself tall like we did. Grow yourself tall and carefully turn to the right, but keep your hips facing a little bit forward, and then come to center, grow even taller, and turn just gently, not a force, over to the left. And then we come back down the middle, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. Float your arms along your sides. And imagine that you're doing Sphinx pose. Your chest is lifted, not your chin, your chest. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, take your hands to your thighs. Pause a moment here, press into your thighs, and lengthen your spine like we've been talking about. Keep that length as you sneak your hands down your thighs, possibly to your shins, possibly to your ankles. It's a forward fold with a long spine. Slide your hands up. Inhale, even more length. And then exhale, bend your knees deeply, plant your hands, step back to down dog. So pressing into your hands, lifting your hips. Maybe your feet are hip distance now. Arms and ears are lined up. Shift into a plank. Your shoulders come over your wrists. Bring your knees to your mat and then lower slowly all the way down onto your belly. Uncurl your toes. Press the tops of your feet down. Come into a cobra pose. If you prefer a sphinx, your forearms could go down like our first one that we did. Lower down and curl your toes under. Come to all fours. And then find the hook in your tailbone that takes you to down dog. Press actively into your arms. Let your hips lift up and back and off your shoulders. And then walk forward. Feet come to your hands. Hip distance in parallel. Slide your hands up. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge. Slide your hands down. Inhale, rise, reach. Thumbs to the sky, a V. And then we stand in our mountain. Our palms face out. Let's dance that one more time. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Glide your hands up. Inhale, lift your heart. Bend your knees. Plant your hands first, then step back. The hook is in your tailbone. You press into your arms and your hips lift even higher. And then come to a plank, shoulders over wrists. Bring your knees to your mat. Push the ground away as you lower, all the way down. Uncurl your toes, activate the tops of your feet pressing. Traction your hands towards you. You can use your forearms instead. And then lower down, curl your toes under. In one chunk, come to all fours. And then lift your hips way up and back. Push into your arms. Let your head relax. And then walk your feet forward to your hands. We're hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up, inhale. Slide your hands down, exhale. Belly firm, inhale. Rise, reach, thumbs to the sky. And then float your arms along your sides, palms face out. Take your arms in front of you, palms face each other. Make big circles away from one another at your shoulder joint. And envision that Sphinx and Cobra pose that we did on the ground, especially as your arms swoop behind you. One more, big circle. And now settle your arms along your sides and really wear that feeling of big circles, open shoulder joints, and Sphinx pose into your stance. And we'll try to translate that as we step wide out to the side. And we'll take our two blocks and place one at each end of the long edge of our mat. So one long edge is becoming the front of our mat, and then behind us, we've arranged our two blocks within reach in case we want to use them. First, let's step wide, thumbs to the sky. Ankles underneath wrists is a good starting point for our distance. Turn your heels in and your toes out. And then as we bend our knees for a bit of a plie, we just want to make sure there's a vertical line from our knees to our ankles, so you might need a little bit wider stance for what's called your goddess stance. Arms wide, thumbs to the sky. Take your right arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky, and then pat yourself on the back. Take your left thumb to face down and the back of your left hand to the small of your back. And now let's see if we can't bring a little feeling of that Sphinx pose here. Not throwing our chin forward and dumping into our low back. So we've got our left back of the hand there to keep that nice and long, our lower back. And we're here in our goddess stance with all kinds of mobility happening in our shoulders that hopefully are helping us not to slump too much. Straighten your legs. And then gently release your arms, thumbs to the sky, arms out to the side. Let's bend our knees one more time. And it's our left arm that goes up to the sky, thumb to the sky, and we pat ourselves on the back. Then turn your right thumb down, take the back of your right hand to the small of your back. And we'll just see if we can't sit tall, stand tall as it were, through it all. A couple of moments here. Not a huge bend in our back, so right hand in the small of your back can keep you honest about that. And then straighten your legs and gently release your arms wide out to the side. Turn all your toes to face the long edge of your mat, and then sneak your left heel back and rotate from your right hip joint. Right foot faces the short edge of your mat. Now, we're not going to side bend here. What we are going to do is lift this left hip and hinge at our right hip for a triangle pose. So reach way out with that right hand, and then find your block with your right hand. Right hand on the block on the outside of your right foot. Left arm, turn the thumb to face down, bring the back of your left hand to the small of your back, like we just did standing, but now we're adding what's called a half bind to our triangle pose. Feel all the feels for a moment. A stretch in your right hamstring, in the inseam of that right leg. And we're rotating our chest to the sky as if Sphinx pose was still along for the ride. Let's soak here a few moments. You're welcome to stay exactly as you are. You might step this up into what's called half moon, which means that you move your block a foot in front of you, keep your left arm behind your back, and possibly lift that left leg. Oh, hi, Tip. And then we'll step it back to our half bound triangle. So step back with your left leg, stick your landing, free your left arm up to the sky, look down and bend your right knee. Upright your torso, but move your prop out of your way off to the side, and then we'll straighten that leg and turn the whole boat around. So toes face the long edge, and then you'll cheat your right heel back. You'll turn your left leg out from that left hip, and then instead of a side bend, we reach way out. So we're hinging at our hip, we reach way out with that left hand, and we discover our other block, left hand down and right arm up. Turn your right palm or your right thumb to face down. Bring the back of your right hand to the small of your back. Whittle away some space in those bottom ribs, left ribs, and rotate your chest to the sky as if Sphinx pose were here, educating this posture too. And we'll stay for a few moments where we are. Keep that right arm behind your back. If you would like, you'll step this up, move your block about a foot in front of that left pinky toe, and lift your right leg. Remember, you can stay right where we were in that triangle, that half-bound triangle instead. And if you did step it up for the balance, look down and carefully slide your block with you back into the triangle pose with the half bind. And then we'll take our right arm up. Look down and bend that left knee and move your prop out of your way as you upright your torso. One more time, we'll turn the whole boat around. All toes face your long edge. Turn your right leg out. Cheat that left heel back. Now this time we bend our front knee and we probably need to adjust our stance a little longer. So there's a vertical line from our right knee to our right ankle. And then we'll take our right forearm across our thigh and our left arm up to the sky. Instead of swinging our butt out, hug that right hip underneath you, and let's make some space between our right shoulder and our right ear. Then left thumb faces down, back of your left hand to the small of your back. If you want to, you can take your right hand onto the block outside of your right foot, but forearm across your thigh is pretty fantastic and gives you lots of opportunity to take the slump tendency out of our shoulder blade area. 3 moments here. Take a look down, free your left arm up, upright your torso, and then straighten that front leg. We'll lower our arms and turn all of our toes to face the long edge. Then rotate from your hip, your left leg, so that your left foot's facing that short edge. Sneak your right heel back at 45 degrees. Bend that left knee. Hopefully our spacing is a little more accurate on this side since we were just here, but it's always good to make sure that vertical line is there. Take your left forearm across your left thigh and your right arm up to the sky. Be content here, or if at some point you want to take that left hand onto your block, outside that left foot, you'll do it. Turn your right thumb to face down, back of your right hand to the small of your back. It's reminding your left hip to hug underneath you. And it's like Sphinx pose or Cobra pose are here as we rotate our left ribs, our bottom ribs towards the sky. And we'll soak in this shape for a few moments. Then look down, free your right arm up, upright your torso, straighten your front leg, turn all of your toes to face that long edge, heel toe, until we are hip distance and parallel. Make your way to the front edge of your mat with your feet hip distance and parallel facing the short edge of your mat. I'm going to turn it a diagonal so it's easier to see what I'm up to. Now you'll stand onto your left leg and then kick yourself in the butt with that right leg and see if you can hold the outside of your right foot. You might even use a kitchen towel, and you could use something like a wall or the arm of your chair or your couch to help you balance here. We'll kick that right leg back behind us, maybe take our left arm up to the sky, and now we're finding an opportunity to take the slump out and also to stretch the front of our right thigh. Sometimes that tightness has us a little rounded over in our torso as well. Now gently let go and step down. Switch sides with your hand on your wall or whatever is helpful. Stand on your right leg. Kick yourself in the butt with your left heel. Reach with your left hand. See what you find. Maybe a kitchen towel to lasso that with is helpful. And we'll kick our left leg back and take our right arm up and really feel the uplift of our heart, the stretch in the front of our left thigh. Then carefully step down and out of it. We're facing that short edge, and we will inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, and then plant your hands onto your mat and step into downward facing dog. Once you're in downward facing dog, lift your right leg behind you and then just step that right foot forward and lower your back knee onto your mat. Sneak your two blocks into the mix. Take one block and place it underneath your right sit bone as you design a side saddle seat upon it. So we're building out a little bit of a single pigeon. I'd like you to sit on your block or on a cushion or a folded blanket. Take your other block so that we can not slump, but instead find our Sphinx pose here. Slide that left leg back. You'll feel a stretch that's a little bit like that standing stretch we just did where we were holding our foot. And then sometimes we collapse here and round over. I'm going to ask you today to stay tall. So it's a little bit of a pigeon pose with a puffed up chest. And then we'll feel all the feels as we drop our left hip a little bit heavier. And we'll take a full minute to be silent, sort of like when we sat with our cross-legged seat at the very beginning. A little silent meditation here. 3 moments. To come out of it, lean to your right and bend your left knee. You can use your props to help it along. And now we make our way. We'll stay close to the ground instead of going to down dog. Step your left foot forward. Your back knee is down. We'll make a cushion of some sort with our block, or if you prefer a pillow or something else, that's fine. Walk that left foot over to the right enough that you can situate your sit bone on whatever prop is helpful. And then we'll take our tall block in front of us and walk that right leg back to a place where some of that standing pose stretch makes its way into our seated posture. And instead of rounding today, we are proud pigeons. We are puffed up pigeons, and our hand on our tall block can help that. Now we get quiet again, sink and soak in our stretch. To come out of it, lean to your left. Carefully bend that right knee. And we'll come off of our perch and still use these tall blocks. You could also continue to use a cushion to sit up on. So when we straighten our legs out in front of us, and I'm going to take my legs hip distance, not all the way together. If you'd like them together, that's fine too. And I've got my two blocks very tall. And I remind you, we're getting the slump out of things. So what we're not doing right now is a fold like this. What we are doing is hinging. And that's why sitting up on something might prevent you from doing such a rounding. And if we walk our tall blocks forward and almost think that we're doing Sphinx, tractioning our chest through the gateway of our arms, all sorts of incredible sensations come forward. And we're not rehearsing slumping over our steering wheel or at our computer. We're actually feeling a little bit more of that uplift of our heart. And that has a little emotional tip to it too. A little emotional resonance. A couple moments here. It's like you're bowing. Slowly bring yourself upright. Take your two props off to the side. Bend your knees and then lie down on your back. Once you're lying on your back, snuggle your shoulder blades towards each other. This is another recipe for not slumping. We're not winging those shoulder blades out. They're snuggled beneath us. And you could just stay here and let this be your rest and digest, or extend one leg and then the other leg straight. And it is our Shavasana final meditation. Feel free to close your eyes if that's comfortable, or just soften your gaze. You're welcome to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation for as long as you would like. If you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes. Give yourself a stretch in opposite directions, almost like you're waking up refreshed and renewed all over again. And then gather your knees into your chest and roll slowly to either side. Use your arms to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat, and perhaps that seat is a cross-legged seat like we began. Once you're seated comfortably, place your hands on your thighs or take your fingertips back behind you and lift your heart one more time. I hope that this has you walking back out into the world standing tall with your heart uplifted. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.